Behind me is the source of one of the hardest working rivers in all of America. Welcome to Aidan On Location at the Blackstone River, the birthplace of industry in America. This river runs about 45 miles from here in Worcester, Massachusetts, descending 438 feet as it travels through the valley, eventually feeding out in Pawtucket and eventually Narragansett Bay. Nowadays, this river's called the Blackstone, named for William Blackstone, the first white settler along its banks. Though this river has had plenty of names throughout its life. The Narragansett, the Seekonk, the Neatmock, the Nipmuc, and the Great River, just to name a few. For many years, the Blackstone served as one of the borders between Rhode Island and Massachusetts. In his original land purchase, Roger Williams claimed the lands, quote, between the Pawtucket and the Patuxets, upstream without limits. Perfectly clear. No, this claim created ambiguity with our border with Massachusetts in the north. They claimed their southern border as 2 miles south of the headwaters of the Charles River. As well as that, they claimed the east bank of the Blackstone River all the way down, even below this line, making it even less clear who owned what. In fact, King George II had to step in 1747 when he ceded the lands known then as Attleboro Gore to Rhode Island, who incorporated it as the town of Cumberland. Right here at the very mouth of the Blackstone is where this river first found its true calling. In 1793, with a little bit of funding from the Brown family, Samuel Slater set up Slater Mill right here, the first water-driven textile mill in all of the Americas. In essence, this mill is what set off the footwork for the American Industrial Revolution. In no time at all, dozens of mills and mill villages sprouted up along the Blackstone and its tributaries. In particular, heavy concentrations formed in Pawtucket, Worcester, and here in Woonsocket. The Blackstone River is actually at its steepest descent here in Woonsocket, providing ample power for mills and industry. During the Civil War, the mills here had to go up to Quebec to recruit a workforce. In fact, because of this, Woonsocket became one of the most French-speaking populations anywhere in America. With companies and mills popping up all the way upstream, they needed a way to ship their products to Providence so they could get to market and to port. And for that, once again, they looked to the Blackstone. In 1825, construction began on this, the Blackstone Canal. Horses would walk along these towpaths, pulling cargo up the canal. This system wasn't in use for long, though. In 1847, the Providence and Worcester Railroad opened up, expediting shipping between Providence, Woonsocket, and Worcester. All of this work wasn't without damage to the river, though. Throughout the 1900s, people began to have a better understanding of the actual damage they were doing to the river. People who grew up in this valley often said that you could tell what color the shirts would be that they were making in Woonsocket by the color that the river down here was stained. The damage went just beyond the colors, though. People just threw their trash all throughout the river, and it accumulated. In 1972, the state of Rhode Island put together a project titled Zap the Blackstone, in which 10,000 volunteers came together to clean up the Blackstone in the largest single-day environmental cleanup in the United States history. Despite this monumental cleanup, the damage is still bad. In 1990, the EPA called this river the most polluted river in the United States in respects to toxic sediments. Food grown on its banks still can't be eaten, and you still cannot swim in this river. Across man's whole relationship with the area, the Blackstone has served as the backbone of life in northern Rhode Island. Even though most of the mills have shut down, the river still is not fully clean and will likely be generations, if ever, until it is. Even after the last mill race has been fully plugged and the last mill has shut its doors, this river and the valley will still be reeling from the centuries of impact and damage we've had on its banks.